How's it going, Yankee fans? My name is Alex with my co-host here, Nick Nielsen. Today we want to discuss Spencer Jones, the Yankees' first-round draft pick, 25th overall. The dude is an absolute cannon. He is a generational power type of prospect who, when you look at him, he looks like his batting stance, the way he swings the bat is a kind of a mash of Judge, Carpenter, and even Gallo. I don't even want to throw Gallo into the mix, but Carpenter and Judge. It looks like he has a lot of the same fundamentals and technique, which obviously is a very good thing considering both those guys are absolutely mashing this year. But
that's crazy that Carpenter is now an awesome comp for someone, and you want to look for their swing to be like Matt Carpenter's. This time last year, you're like, his swing profile is like Matt Carpenter's. People are like, oh, don't say that. Now it's like he better be swinging the bat like Matt Carpenter.
Exactly. But, Spencer Jones is a really, really intriguing prospect who could end up becoming a legitimate star at the next level. He's one of the guys that you take a risk on because, if he fails to make contact later on, if he has trouble, moving through the system, then it's a risk you have to take because his slugging capabilities, he had the hardest hit ball in the history of college baseball at 119 miles an hour, which definitely indicates he's got some damn good power. And he's 6'7", 225 pounds. About the same size as Judge back when he was being drafted in 2013, except now Judge is about 50 pounds heavier at 283. So you can see that there's a lot left to be desired in terms of weight and power behind him when it comes to Jones. But he also has unbelievable athleticism, great sprint speed, can play multiple positions. He's a guy that has a ton of potential. His best days are ahead of him for sure. Excited to kind of take a look at him, break him down, Nick. But what is your first impression of Spencer Jones? How did you feel when they picked him out of Vanderbilt?
I mean, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, first of all, the Orioles kind of shocked everyone by not taking Drew Jones, and then Kumar Roquer went third, or I don't know I think it's Roquer. I'm pretty sure it's Roquer. But he went third and reunited with his Vanderbilt teammate Jack Leiter. So those basically stole the draft headlines. So I was sitting there thinking, at this rate, I don't know what's happening in the draft. People are just making decisions that they want to make with no real backing on it. And so then we ended up taking Spencer Jones, and I was like, all right, this is a great pick. I mean, the dude's 6'7", just played at the most prestigious baseball program in America and started there and did really well there. Like Vanderbilt, it is very difficult to play at Vanderbilt, to start at Vanderbilt, to get reps at Vanderbilt. Like I played baseball in high school, and I had some friends that played baseball in high school that were far, far, far better than me, and they went and played at Vanderbilt. One of them was Tristan McKenzie's brother, TJ. He went and played for Vanderbilt. So it's a really storied program, and to do well there in the SEC and to win a championship when he was there as well is huge. So kudos to him. Again, you said it. He's a lefty Aaron Judge. And their stats, I was trying to find a tweet for because someone put a little side-by-side of Spencer Jones's junior year and Aaron Judge's junior year stats, and they are literally identical. I think they're separated by 9 points in OPS. And they have the exact same walk rate, same average. I think the slugging is just a little bit different. But the kid has a ton of torque, ton of power. He does have a bit of an uppercut swing. So some high stuff I do think he'd struggle with. But again, it's the Yankees. So you know that they could probably get something out of him. Those types of players either turn into great players and top prospects with generational power, or they're just kind of one of those that bats 220 for their entire career, but still hits 30, 35 home runs across the minor leagues. So it'll be interesting to see how the Yankees work with him and how he develops down the road. Only 21. But I thought it was a really, really good pick, especially for the value and the 25th pick. It's never that easy to get a generational talent with a 25th pick. But I do think Spencer Jones can check a lot of boxes the Yankees like. And I love their second round pick in Drew Thorpe. He's got a 65 grade changeup. And whenever you have a really, really good off-speed pitch, in my opinion, that's one of the hardest things for a lot of pitchers to develop. So I think that was a great pick as well with pick 61.
Yeah, I mean, look, the MLB draft is kind of a crapshoot. A lot of these guys never end up being anything.
And when you see them, it's 5 years from now, and you're like, oh shit, I forgot he got drafted. It's not like the NBA or NFL, where it's oh damn, this guy got drafted and he is going to be their star.
Right. Number one picks oftentimes have a lot more probability of being successful in the
Sure.
MLB. There's been a couple of obviously really great ones, but at the end of the day, when you get to the 25 range, it's a crapshoot. You look at Nestor Cortez, you look at some of these guys got drafted so late, and a lot of them become productive players, and a lot of them end up not even making it to the majors. So it
Yeah.
really just is like I said, it's a crapshoot. You don't know who's going to end up coming away with it, but when you can find a guy who has the potential to be generational, like a Spencer Jones, you take the shot. And especially because he fits the Yankees mold perfectly, right? Not only is he a slugger, but he's a lefty slugger, right?
Yeah.
The Yankees love, you look at Dylan Lawson, his mantra is hit strikes hard. And this guy does that with unbelievable prowess, right? So you're looking at him, and he's capable of really putting things together and having a successful career moving forward. The question is, when he gets to better levels of talent, is he going to be able to maintain that batting average? Is he going to be able to maintain that contact rate? Is his whiff rate going to go through the roof? Is he going to be able to pull the ball more? That's something that he's kind of struggled with him in terms of pulling the ball. If he can get his bat around the baseball a little bit more, he's going to dominate when it comes to hitting homers in the short right porch in the future. And if the Yankees end up extending Aaron Judge, there's a pretty good chance you see Spencer Jones and Aaron Judge in the same outfields like 4 years from now. So that's actually a legitimate reality. But this past season in the SEC, Jones hit 370 with a 46% on base rate, 644 slugging rate, 85 total hits, over 230 at bats. He was an absolute tank. And Tim Corbin, the coach at Vanderbilt, said his future is well ahead of him. And you can't say that about every kid. Sometimes they may max themselves out. You can't say that about Spencer. He's just starting to climb the stairs right now. I think 10 years from now, we're going to look back and say, well, what a big league career he's having. And I'll tell you what, he's also a great kid, like just a phenomenal kid. And I think that that's going to be
Yeah, I
a
don't know if you
big
saw
thing
the
for it
video of
too.
him giving the fan a baseball in the outfield, and he like ran and jumped the wall and like dropped the ball in the kid's glove and was like, "Here you go." Like that's Judgy. That's what
That's
Judgy
super
does on the
nice.
daily. He's not like Jaron Duran, where like I don't know if you saw what that idiot did, or I think it's Jared Duran, the Red Sox outfielder, where he like pump faked the ball and then like ran back to the dugout. It's like, all right, dude. I don't know who you think you are. Like I get you're at Yankee Stadium, so you probably just want to like fuck around a little bit. But like, come on, like, why are you gonna be messing with kids? But I love that about Spencer Jones. Like when you have the personality that kind of fits the mold of what the Yankee organization wants and expects out of you as a player and as a person, that's awesome. That's great. Like, I mean, it's tough playing for the most storied franchise in all of sports, arguably, and the biggest brand that's literally a bigger brand than they are a sports team across the entire world. And he's going to have that on his hat and on his chest when he's playing for the Yankees. So it's a great moment for the kid. I think that he's definitely ready for it. Like you said, it'll be interesting to see how he continues to progress through the different levels of the minor league system. But playing at Vanderbilt, it means that he did face some of the best competition in baseball, in college baseball at least. And I do think it'll be interesting to see what the Yankees decide to do with him. I can see him starting off in Double A, because of him being 21 and having a couple years of college ball and summer ball under his belt. But it'll also be interesting because maybe they say you're going to start at the high A. Like, I don't know. They've got a lot of depth. And I'm excited for the draft this year more than I've ever been because one, I care more about baseball than I've ever cared about baseball. But then two, I'm excited to see what the Yankees kind of how they draft, how they fill out the farm, what studs, what diamonds they could find in the rough, and if some of these guys may end up having a bigger piece of the pie in a couple years. Because we've talked about Juan Soto for the past couple of days, and we don't know what's going to happen with Juan Soto. Who knows? Honestly, it's a shot in the dark. But if the Yankees do end up trading for Juan Soto, it's going to be a lot of prospects. And for all I know, it may be someone we draft in this MLB draft. Like, I don't know. So there's a lot of things that are turning, and I love watching the young kids get selected. Like, it's an awesome moment for them for a multitude of reasons. Like, I don't know if you saw Jackson Holloway, the Orioles signed him to an 8 million signing bonus, which for a kid that's 18 years old, that's
Holy
I know he's
crap.
Matt Holliday's son, so it's
Oh
like
my
not like
God.
money's a problem. But if Matt Holliday was a good dad, he wouldn't be just handing out money. So good for Jackson Holliday. And he was committed to Oklahoma State. So it looks like he's probably just going to end up deferring that and going to the MLB.
Jeez. 8
It's
million,
crazy.
18. Good
Yeah,
God. I
it's
mean,
awesome. Like, good for him. Like,
oh, wow.
I still think the biggest dub was Kamara Care. Like, again, dude got drafted last year by the Mets, didn't pass his medical. They didn't sign him because they were worried about his shoulder. He said there's no long-term issues. Then he came back and pitched for the Tri-City Valley Cats and did really well and was picked third overall by the Rangers, which is it could be a reach. But if all things work out for Texas, you've got Leiter and Ricaro back together for the next decade in your system.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Rangers made some good moves. A little bit of a risk, but
Yeah.
otherwise, there's a good players we're talking about, great players even. So when you're at 25th overall, you got to make that decision. Do you take the risk or do you go for a guy that maybe just may have a high floor but a low ceiling? The Yankees went for a high ceiling but also a pretty low floor
Yeah.
if Spencer Jones can't
low
can't
floor.
make contact.
He's like a tall Dan Vogelback or like a Chris Davis. Like that's the low floor.
Or he's Gallo, or he's Joey Gallo.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Joey Gallo before like he joined the Yankees was good. Like he had like an average WRC plus in his major league career.
He's Joey Gallo right now.
123.
Joey Gallo right now is his floor. That's what I see.
Because it's just so much swing and miss. Can't hit the high stuff. Can't catch up to it.
His
and refuses to choke up on the bat. So like it'll be but that's and his stance and his swing are so similar to Carpenter's, as you said at the beginning. Like there's a lot of things to like about this pick. And the fact that he has really good athleticism and speed for his size. I believe he went 15 for 16 on the base paths as well. So like he can steal bags, he can play the corner spots, and he could potentially play center. I don't know if you'd want to put him in center right now because you probably want to see how he plays as a corner outfielder first, especially with someone with his size. But either way, I love the pick. There were some good picks before, some good picks after, but I think the Yankees honestly picked a guy that was kind of like that fit what they wanted in a player. And that's why I love the Drew Thorpe pick in the second round at 61, because all the MLB sites like Baseball America, Prospectus, I believe The Athletic, all had Thorpe around that low 60s, mid 60s pick range. So the Yankees taking him at 61 leads me to believe that, okay, a lot of people agree that that's about where he should have gone. So I really like that pick a lot. Like the only worry I have with that pick is that he sits low 90s with his fastball, high 80s with his fastball. And in a league where velocity is slowly becoming everything and has become everything in the past decade, it'll be interesting to see how he can kind of navigate through that, because he's going to present something that not a lot of pitchers do nowadays. And that's a lot of off speed with his changeup and a slow fastball and a meh slider. So I'm excited to see how he can develop. I don't know. I think the Yankees took some risks yesterday night. And I'm excited to see how they build on that today with their rounds. I believe 3 through 10 today for the MLB draft. I think so. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited to continue watching it. And there's so many people that are going to be picked that, like you said, a lot of these names we may never hear again. I mean, if we do, it'll be in 5-6 years when they hit a pinch hit home run. So that'll be, I don't know. I just love following the journey and I love the experience of it all. I do wish MLB could market the draft better and they could have like a better system in place a little bit.
Oh God,
the NFL draft's awesome. It makes. I think Vegas made hundreds of millions of dollars from the NFL draft this year.
I don't understand why do they make the draft? I guess it kind of has to align with the collegiate season maybe, but I wonder why the draft, do you know why the draft isn't during the offseason where they could kind of market it a little bit better?
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know there are like some camps as well, like winter camps that some players go and perform in and participate in, but I wish I knew. The MLB also just kind of started to do this kind of stuff where they just started to like really like have events and have fans attend the draft and have the new draft combine with it. Like they just started doing that, I want to say last year. So there's a lot of work to be made, but at least they're improving it, I believe. Like I loved watching this year's draft. Like this is the first year that I've really sat down and like actually watched the draft. It was just really, I don't know. It was better done this year than it was done in years past, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, I think that they should probably put some more resources into making it a little bit bigger. I think that the draft, I mean, you look at the NFL, the stats that are around it, the players, the hype, the everything, the news flow, they really take advantage. They make like a Super Bowl in the middle of the off season. And it's so good for the revenue and it keeps fans engaged, right? It keeps them excited about, and also I'll point this out, it keeps guys excited about the development of players too, right? Like True. I know NFL players are going right to the NFL. So college players going right to the NFL. So they make an impact on your team immediately. Whereas college players in baseball take 4 or 5 years, even sometimes to make it to the top level, if they make it at all. But getting some more attention around those minor league prospects would really help the game's longevity because people don't care enough. Like the average fan doesn't necessarily care that much about prospects, unless it's like your number 1 or 2 prospect, like Anthony Volpe or Dominguez or Peraza. Everybody else is just kind of like, who is that? Like, what do they do? What do they play? It's there's not as much information about it. I wish that baseball put a little bit more effort into kind of marketing those things.
Yeah,
and
I
think,
definitely agree.
And yeah, which should be cool. But that's part of like why we're doing the thing. If you guys don't know this, Nick and Ryan are going to the Somerset game to connect with some of the other collaborations and collaborators with Yankees media, and watch the game, get cool insights, and talk to the players, and get some really good experience doing that. So you'll get some really good inside information and some really great film and stuff like that to watch on the channel in a couple weeks here. So hopefully you guys enjoy that very much. But I will say this. I think that Spencer Jones is a high ceiling type of guy if the Yankees can develop him properly. Obviously, he fits their mold perfectly. And then, of course, their 61st overall pick in Drew Thorpe, which is also a pretty solid player who could end up being something interesting. We'll see what he does. Has some pretty decent velocity at a 93, 94 mile an hour fastball. Obviously, we'll take a couple years to develop.
Kid. That's where I go to school in Salt Lake City. So
absolutely,
Utah boy. Now he's Cal
nasty changeup.
His changeup is it got like a 65 grade from like every prospect changeup. So it's like if you can at least build off your fastball a little bit, and if you can get that fastball even up to like 93, 94 and sit on that, then I think he'll be able to get by. But sitting 89 to 91 at fastball is tough.
The way his changeup moves is wild. It starts inside and actually like curves away from the plate, which is wild.
His run on his changeup is nutty. Like it's really crazy. He throws that pitch a ton.
Yeah.
Like I want to say that he threw like 64% off speed in his.
That's crazy.
Like the dude's really, really good, but he's got to work on a slider, which is like a very below average pitch, and then his fastball just needs a bit more life. Yeah, but for the 61st pick in the draft, I think it's a great pick. Like I'm excited to see what the Yankees can work with him and turn him into. Like that's what you never know with any of these guys. Like you said at the beginning of the episode, Nestor Cortez was such a late round pick, and he turns into one of the best stories in baseball history. So you never know.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, look, Drew Thorpe is a guy that has a great changeup, but kind of needs to work on his fastball. It's kind of straight as an arrow, which obviously is going to be hittable at the next level, but. He's got plenty of time. And as you said before, look at Nestor Cortez, round 36, pick 28. I mean, you never know who's going to end up becoming a solid player. And Cortez is arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball right now, or has been over the first half of the year. So it's really, really exciting. And it's just a crapshoot at the end of the day. Good development does wonders for players. And sometimes it takes them a couple years in the MLB to figure it out, as we've seen with Cortez and others. So pretty fun, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode talking about Spencer Jones. Would love to hear your perspectives and opinions on these draft selections and your thoughts on their ceilings and floors. As always, make sure to like and subscribe below. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.